Gotcha. Ah, that's better.
ProtectYourBubble.com, proud sponsors of Swipe on Sky News.
You're watching Swipe. On the show this week, we're getting slope savvy, the breathtaking technology taking skiers to new heights. Worst case survival, the gadgets that could save your life. And we leave the real world for the virtual. The mounting bugs spread to this week's games review too. Hello and welcome to Swipe from here, the French Alps. Where else would we go to film our ski tech and mountain safety special? Here in the resort of Pizy-Valandry, we've been getting to grips with some of the latest technology, making life even better for those who love snow sports. Here's Angela.
Technology is transforming the skiing and boarding experience. From electronic ski locating devices that mean you'll never lose them again, to goggle designs enabling skiers to capture their journey down the mountain with built-in HD cameras and Wi-Fi enabling faster social media sharing. And there are goggles which let you locate and text buddies on the piste, listen to music at the same time and track your altitude and speed. And there are phone apps for that too. Check you're not going too fast, get alerts for a change in the weather and plot a route down the slopes using your phone's GPS.
But with all this technology enhancing the user experience on the slopes, there are some concerns that it could be compromising our safety at the same time.
We, as instructors, notice that the more technology that's available and that people use, people become reliant on it and people refer to it perhaps a little bit too much, particularly the issue of speed with apps on phones and people putting a high priority on skiing faster rather than skiing safely and well.
But there are some safety hazards that you can't control. Avalanches are a big worry, especially for those venturing off-piste, and this is leading to increased innovation to help save lives. A transceiver is just one of the pieces of kit getting smarter, enabling easier and more accurate detection of a victim buried in snow.
Avalanche safety technology, it's improving each year. Because before the transceiver was analogic, okay, and now it's a numeric system, so that you can see what do you want on your transceiver, and it's easier for everybody to find it somebody. So it's definitely easier than the old technology.
Electronic probes like this one can reduce the search time for a victim, and jet fan airbags like the Jet Force allowing multiple deployments are just some of the designs increasing the chances of surviving an avalanche. But local experts are also keen to remind visitors unfamiliar with the terrain that technology can only help in some scenarios and shouldn't be completely relied on.
All this modern technology has really helped us a huge amount. It's given us access to places we never dreamt we could go to before, and so much easier. The thing I think everyone really must remember is that the basic safety rules have to always be adhered to. You've got to really think about what's happening around you, listen to the advice, look out for the avalanche warnings, and ideally always just stay safe. Ski in pairs, never go off on your own, no matter how safe you think you are with what you have with you.
So as more gadgets take off and transform mountain sports, there's no shortage of tech to enhance and capture the experience and make it a safer one at the same time. Angela Barnes, Sky News.
Well, you saw in Angela's piece there the importance of staying safe on the mountain, and with me now is one man who lives dangerously but he knows how to protect himself and others. Off-piste ski instructor Charlie Chadwick. Charlie, thanks for joining us. Now, in terms of self-protection, while you're skiing in backcountry terrain, what kind of technology do you keep with you?
So everyone, including myself, should have the minimum, which is a transceiver, a shovel and a probe.
Okay, and how do you use this kind of kit?
So these transceivers, like the one in my hand and the one that I'm also wearing, they send and they search for radio waves.
Okay, so anyone skiing off-piste could wear one, and then it's effectively tracking that person.
Yes.
So then if they were to accidentally trigger an avalanche or something awful like that would happen, then people can know how to find them.
Exactly. So if someone gets buried, a bit like the transceiver just over here.
Got one buried there. Okay, so let's pretend that's someone who's got into difficulty.
Exactly. So yeah, if I turn this one into search mode.
And this is the one that picks it up now. So someone else would have these.
Exactly, yeah. So we're now getting a reading in meters, so it's saying 1.2 meters away.
1.2, so it's pretty accurate, it knows where we are.
Yeah.
You would then you'd be able to locate that person in difficulty.
Yeah, and if I'm lucky enough to have one of these fancy new electronic probes.
You would advise that everyone has a probe.
Yeah, everyone needs a standard probe anyway, but if you're lucky enough to have one of these electronic ones, which I'll just put together and switch on, then this will continue searching itself as well. So it'll give me...
And that beep, does that beep mean that we're near to the transceiver?
This beep means we're really close, yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
So then at this stage, what do you do with the probe?
So at this point, I'll leave the probe in the ground, like so, if it will stay there, and then I'll start digging to find the victim.
This is the point where you dig.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous sport. What kind of tips would you give to anyone who wants to do more off-piste?
So the name of the game really is experience. So you want as much training as you can get really, and ski with experienced
And in terms of avalanches, I mean, you must trigger them. Off-piste skiers trigger avalanches.
Yep, all the time when you're skiing on steep terrain, snow will be moving, and it's just how much snow moves. If it's a big avalanche.
The better training you have, the more likely you are to be able to get by without triggering an avalanche?
Yeah, knowing when and when not to ski things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds so dangerous, Charlie, but thank you for talking to us. Thanks for joining us
My
on
pleasure.
Sky Swipe. You're watching Swipe, still to come. Things have been pretty icy for us filming the show this week, but wait till you see what Lara Croft's been up to in our games review. Stay with us. But first, here's a roundup of some of this week's other tech news. A project to test driverless cars launched in Britain this week in the hope the country will become a leading global supplier. It's thought driverless vehicles could eventually save motorists 6 working weeks a year in driving time, reduce congestion and cut emissions. Alien Isolation, Far Cry 4 and Monument Valley lead the nominees for this year's Games BAFTAs. Alien Isolation, based on the 1979 Ridley Scott film, has 6 nominations, while the other 2 titles have 5 each. A lightweight drone which can fly and bounce through disaster areas will now move into commercial production after winning funding. The developers of the collision-proof flyability gimbal beat off competition from 19 other drones to win the £660,000 prize. The Drones for Good competition was organised by the United Arab Emirates government. Well, if you can't make it to the slopes this season, fear not. There's plenty of wintry fun to be had in the games that Lydia's picked for us in this week's Games Review.
So Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris is a sequel to Lara Croft and the Garden of Light. It's a spin-off of the main series Tomb Raider, and it's a top-down co-op puzzle game. So you can play it with up to 3 other players, whether it be online or sitting on the sofa next to you, and you work together as you explore the Egyptian underworld. Now the DLC, called the Icy Death, it's a great way of livening up the series, because usually we're used to that sandy, sunny atmosphere, and now everything's covered in a lovely blanket of snow and ice, and it's been turned into this winter wonderland. It's really interesting because they play with that with the puzzles, which is obviously a massive theme for this game. So they really incorporate that element into it, and it's just a really nice take on the series that you can play with your friends. Never Alone is a side-scrolling co-op puzzle game which is set in Alaska, so it's super snowy, it's very aesthetically pleasing, it's very charming, and it's lovely to play with a friend. So you play as Yuma, the little girl, and her Arctic fox friend, and you work together to get through this great blizzard which is attacking where you live. So the interesting thing about this game is there is a lovely story behind it. There is a tribe in Alaska who wanted to talk more about their folklore and their history, so they've done it via the media of video games. The game is 8 chapters long, and at the end of every chapter you get either a video or information about their history and things like that. So it's a nice real learning experience as well as a charming video game.
Well, that's it for this week. Our time in the Alps has come to an end, sadly. We'll be back next week with more Swipe from the UK. And don't forget, you can stay up to date with all the latest tech stories on Sky News for iPad, our smartphone app, skynews.com, and our YouTube channel. But for now, from here and all the lovely people we met in PZ for Laundry, goodbye and Sante! Sante!
Gotcha. Ah, that's better.
ProtectYourBubble.com, proud sponsors of Swipe on Sky News.